I think you get the sense of how this begins to work. We can do the same thing with augmented and diminished triads, but maybe let's move on a little bit to triads functioning over dominant and minor chords. So over C dominant, there are a number of triads that exist in the minor third scheme, which are generating tensions not unlike an altered dominant fingering. So we know, of course, that a C triad would work against C7. We talked earlier when we were discussing melodic harmonic minors and majors that a B-flat major gives us the sound of a C sus. So, of course, a B-flat major triad would also give us a sus. That would simply be flat 7, 9, and 11. So a B-flat triad with a C in the bass. Not exactly like a B-flat major because we have one note less, but very similar. So a B-flat triad against C is just going to give me... So Dennis is now playing a C dominant chord, and I'm playing a B-flat triad against that. C major, sorry, C dominant. B-flat major. If I want to introduce some tensions, I could also play an F major triad, which kind of sounds also a bit like a sus. That's probably something that I would consider as kind of moving on to something else, but technically the notes of an F triad would work against the C7, would be 11, 6, and sus, and tonic rather. So back and forth, for example, against the C dominant that Dennis is playing, back and forth between an F and a B-flat major triad actually is kind of interesting. And there's my basic C dominant arpeggio. If I want to begin to introduce some tensions, so those are all within the scale. Those are not introducing any tensions over dominant, but are introducing some embellishments like 9, 11, and 13. Now if I want to begin to introduce some tensions, I can play, among other things, a major triad a half step below that B flat, or basically a minor third below the C, which would be an A triad. And this gives us essentially 13, flat 9. Actually a fairly common move in terms of chords, perhaps you've heard this sound before, if I put a B flat triad on top, and put a C and a B flat in the bass to imply the sound of a C dominant chord, and have a B flat major triad on top, and then simply take the whole triad on the top 3 strings and move it down to an A. This is a nice 13 flat 9 voicing. So I've just gone from a B flat triad on top, B flat major triad, with the D, the F, and the B flat, down a half step to C sharp, E, and A, and this is giving me, if I keep that C and the B flat in the bass, which is implying the C dominant chord, it's just tonic and flat 7 in the bass. So I've got so the A triad is giving me 13 flat 9. Here's C7, A triad. So because Dennis is playing a basic dominant chord, again, I would probably not linger too long on the tensions, but resolve it back to something more consonant. C7, A, so again, in a real Planck situation, if Dennis heard me introducing some of these tensions, he probably would play a chord that either roughly, we're not trying to match each other exactly in these situations, but responding to each other. I can take this major triad, not unlike a diminished chord or scale, and move this in minor thirds. So if I go down another minor third, take the same major triad on the top 3 strings, move it down to an F sharp or down a minor third with the C in the bass, this is giving me flat 7, flat 9, sharp 11. So the same major triad moved down a minor third is giving me a different set of tensions. In this case, it's this sound. And that's the chord voicing that I would actually use. Here's another way that I play this, just using the inside 4 strings. Here's an F sharp major triad, tonic, major third 5th, with a C in the bass. If I put the F sharp on top, then it's sharp 11. So if I mix a C dominant 7, I would also suggest, not unlike what I had you doing earlier, or suggested that you do earlier, when we were talking about melodic and harmonic minor substitutions over major, dominant, and minor chords, I suggested referencing the basic arpeggio of the chord quality that all these other substitutions are an extension of, to hear the substitutions as an extension of that harmony by occasionally referencing in your line the basic arpeggio. And I would recommend you do this also with the triads. So if I'm playing an F sharp major triad, I want to mix that together with a C dominant arpeggio, namely C, E, G, and B flat. So here's my dominant arpeggio, and that's essentially what Dennis is playing. Here's my F sharp triad. Hear me going back and forth? C dominant, F triad, F sharp triad. C7, F sharp triad. Now if I want to put those two triads that I just gave you, which are introducing tensions, together, I could go from a C dominant to an A major triad to an F sharp triad. So then I have the triads are introducing tensions. Now these are all compatible with the tensions that the melodic and harmonic minor are giving us. They're a different approach. The triads have a very specific sound. Even if we're introducing some of the same tensions, we're doing it with these three-note, very consonant sounds in a variety of keys, and it does give you a little different set of tensions and a different feeling than the melodic or harmonic minor substitutions, which are introducing essentially the same sounds. But the intervals are grouped together differently. So I have a couple of other minor thirds. Of course, I could play a C major triad over C dominant. I could also play an E flat major triad over C, which sounds very much like a C minor, but I can also think of this as a sharp 9. If I do that in the context of some of these minor thirds, here's my E flat, my C. Or I could just continue this notion of the minor thirds and play E flat to F sharp, for example. So here's my E flat, here's my F sharp for G flat. So creating triad pair studies can be useful. It could be E flat and A, for example. Then we have flat 5 sounds. We have this. F sharp. So again, we're drawing on all the same tensions that the melodic and harmonic minors give us, namely raised and lowered 5 and 9, but doing it in a different way. The triads have a very specific sound. A lot of my altered dominant chords are these slash chords as triads. So if you saw F sharp with a C in the bass, depending on the context of the tune, that would indicate to me a C7 that has either a sharp 11 or a flat 5 and a flat 9. So some of these slash chords are pretty easy to play. An F sharp triad with a C in the bass, or it could be this. So these are not so difficult to play. I could play it up here, or here, to my A triad. So these are very specific sounds. Again, the B flat triad, no tension. A triad, tension. F sharp triad. E flat. If I put the E in the bass as a major third against the C with an E flat triad, it sounds like a sharp 9 chord. A straight E flat triad with a C in the bass sounds like a C minor. So I might put the major third in there, the E natural. There's the F sharp with the C in the bass. There's the A with the C in the bass. There's the F sharp with the C in the bass. So you're hearing all the same tensions that we're accessing using melodic and harmonic minors, but again, the triad is a very specific sound.